Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, then we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
But what is really the major problem in this country today is the fascism in our streets. The attacks on American citizens by masked hoodlums. If you were attacked by a masked person, you might think you were being kidnapped. You'd be justified in shooting the person to protect yourself.
Well, Vice President J.D. Vance had something to say about what you just heard from Nadler. He said this: they openly call for shooting federal officers. He called out, quote, despicable behavior from an elected official. Nadler on defense responded, this is BS. I'm not calling on citizens to shoot ICE. I'm calling on ICE to stop shooting citizens. Brooke Taylor on the ground in Minneapolis.
Yes, welcome, my friends, to the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. That was Gerald Nadler, Jerry Nads, the retiring congressman from New York. And it sounded to me like he was definitely suggesting that people shoot ICE agents. That's who he was referring to as he called them, the masked thugs. And Democrats have been using this sort of language all along. There's nothing new and surprising about it, actually. I saw a post, Lady Benedict sent Princess Diana and I a post of Scott Jennings, which I looked at briefly, and I'm going to have to look into this story. Apparently, according to Scott Jennings, the New York mayor, Mondami, went to the hospital after an officer was hurt. Didn't go to see an officer. I'll read you what it says. After a police officer was stabbed while on duty in New York City, Mayor Zoran Mondami visited the hospital. Not to check on the officer, but to give comfort to the attacker. That is your Democrat Party in 2026. And of course, I'm going to have to look into this a little bit further. Somehow or another, I missed that story. I'm glad that Scott Jennings got it. Missed it among all the other stories that are happening, and there are plenty, my friends. As you know, the government shutdown, which many people didn't know was underway, is over after President Trump signed a roughly $1.2 trillion government funding bill yesterday. Now Democrats are moving on to the next stage because we still have the funding for the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, outstanding. And that agency enforces immigration laws. Hakeem Jeffries is warning Democrats not to support any temporary funding for Homeland Security without changes to immigration. And he and Chuck Schumer have already put up their wish list of what they want, including they want to make sure that ICE agents around the country are doxxed. There's no other way to put it. They want to make sure that their protesters and their people can dox ICE agents. As this is the New York Times, as bipartisan talks get underway before February 13th deadline, Republicans are already balking at many of the Democrats' proposals. Those include unmasking agents, requiring that then the unmasked agents wear visible identification, and they want to mandate judicial warrants on top of administrative warrants. Speaker of the House, Johnson, talked about that the other day. The administrative warrants are sufficient. Now, Democrats claim that that ICE agents should have to use a judicial warrant when they enter people's houses. Well, if they're apprehending, so the scenario is that if ICE agents are apprehending somebody and they try to evade arrest, they run into a house, then ICE agents shouldn't be able, this is what Democrats are arguing, shouldn't be able to use the administrative warrant to go get that illegal immigrant. They want them to go back to court, get a judicial warrant. Now, the administrative warrants have been used. That's just standard practice. It's still a warrant that allows ICE to detain. Democrats want to tie this whole process up in paperwork and in unnecessary, mind-boggling procedures because they want to stop the apprehension of illegal immigrants. It's that simple. And they want them to be doxxed. And Democrats like Brian Schatz of Hawaii, all we're asking is that this federal law enforcement agency operate like every other law enforcement agency operates. They hold themselves to the same standard your local police is held to. Well, your local police don't have the Democrat Party and their media allies demonizing them 24 hours a day. And let us give you an example. Carlos, that doxing cut. Let me give you an example of what happens and what would be happening more on a regular basis if Democrat demands are met and ICE agents are unmasked and then they're given bright name tags, tell us who you are, and unmask while you're deporting. This is a news report from Fox earlier today.
A man has been arrested and charged with doxing and threatening an FBI agent and his child using information that was stolen from a government vehicle during an anti-ICE protest in Minneapolis. Garrett Tenney, what happened?
Yeah, well, Dana, folks at home will remember these images of protesters breaking into several FBI vehicles a couple of weeks ago in Minneapolis after agents who were trying to investigate the shooting of an illegal immigrant were forced to evacuate the area for their own safety. Inside those cars, protesters found documents that they posted online, including rosters with FBI employees' phone numbers, email addresses, home addresses, and driver's license. According to court records, within a day, 10 to 15 FBI agents and employees started getting threatening phone calls, emails, texts, and even suspicious drive-bys at their home addresses. One agent had around 23 different people contact him with messages like this: "I know where your mom lives, bro, and your dad, and your kids, buddy. Get home safe and fast." And then this email: "We'll see how tough you are when I firebomb," and then included a specific address tied to the agent in Cincinnati, Ohio. But it didn't stop there. They also tracked down one FBI special agent's child on Facebook and sent them this message: "How does it feel to be the child of your dad's info leaked online? And I find it incredibly embarrassing that he's FBI, but so much is available about him and his family." Investigators traced several of those threatening messages to a man named Jose Ramirez, who lives outside Chicago in Schaumburg, Illinois, and according to the criminal complaint, has a criminal history that includes domestic battery, burglary, and mob action. He's now charged with doxing and threatening an FBI agent. Dana?
My goodness. Okay, thank you, Garrett.
Now, this is what Democrats want to happen to every single person in ICE. They are actively looking. Look, let me. I don't want to say anything that I would regret later, but I think it's fair to say that if an ICE agent or Border Patrol agent and their family were harmed in the worst possible ways imaginable, you would not find any Democrats apologizing or pretending to be, you would not find many of them that would be terribly upset given the rhetoric that they're using about ICE now. They clearly know that this is a danger for ICE agents. They have known it. It has been stated over and over and over again. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, leaders of the Democrat Party are insisting that federal agents be unmasked and their identities be known so that people that support the Democrat Party and the liberal efforts to stop illegal immigration can threaten them with harm and threaten their families. It is unconscionable. Jerry Nadler, you heard him at the opening of the show, suggesting that ICE agents should be killed, should be shot. It would be justified. That is, or he made that inference. That is what one can infer from his remarks.
That's a wrap for this minicast. Everything you need to know in 10 minutes or less. Short, sharp, and straight to the point. Don't forget to follow, rate, and share with your friends. For more bite-sized takes, go to WABCRadio.com/minicast and download the 77 WABC app. See you next time for a new episode. Stay curious, stay sharp, and keep the conversation going so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, love those guys. You don't have to start over. With transfer-friendly pathways, your credits count, and you keep moving forward. From day one, you're part of Jasper Nation, preparing for the real world. And with New York City just a train away, opportunity is everywhere. Ready to move forward without missing a step? Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over, move forward.